Hi everyone, it's Mr. Moore. Today we're going to be discussing equations with addition and subtraction. And we're going to be learning about one-step equations and how to solve using inverse operations. Before we get into that, let's go ahead and let's do a little bit of a review from yesterday. I want you to start class right now by taking a look at the problem here. It says determine what value or values for x is a solution. Show work proof for each one. So I'd like you to pause the video in a moment, and I'd like you to solve for 4 times the quantity of x minus 3 squared equals 16. You're going to substitute 3 different times, once with 4, once with 5, and once with 7, and see which of those works, if any of them do, as a solution. All right, go ahead and pause the video now. When you're done, press play to continue. All right, guys. Welcome back. So now you've had an opportunity to do some work, and hopefully you came up with the same thing that I did when you substituted here. If you notice, when you substituted the 4 for x, we got 4 equals 16, which is not true, so we drew the line through it. 4 does not equal 16. When you substituted a 5 for the x, you did indeed get 16 equals 16, which means that, yes, it is a solution. So 5 is a solution for that equation. When you substituted 7, that was not an equation because we got 64 equals 16, which we all know is not true. Yesterday, you had the opportunity to go around the classroom with your partners and you solved problems like this, where you each had to substitute a given value for x to see which one was a solution and which ones were not a solution. Some other problems looked like this, where we had fractions as division, and hopefully that went well for you guys. Today, we're going to talk about the different steps to solving addition and subtraction equations. Step 1 is to draw railroad tracks on either side of the equal sign. Step 2 is to use inverse operation on both sides. Inverses undo each other. So the inverse of addition would be subtraction, and the inverse of subtraction would be addition. The inverse of multiplication would be division, and the inverse of division would be multiplication. They cancel each other out. Step 3 then is to simplify, to isolate the variable, and then step 4 is to check. You'll substitute back in the original equation and check to make sure that your solution was correct. So let's see what that looks like. X plus 8 equals 20. Now the first step said draw railroad tracks on either side of the equal sign. So I'm going to draw my railroad tracks down here like this. All right, railroad tracks have been drawn. Step 2 says use the inverse operation on both sides. So you're going to learn that when we're working with equations, anything you do to the left side, you need to do to the right side. Remember, it's a lot like a balance. Left side, right side, things must be done the same. So here, I see that we have addition. And the inverse operation for addition is what? Correct, it's subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 8 from this side, and I'm going to subtract 8 from this side. I'm doing the same thing to both sides, so that will keep them balanced and equal. When I take away 8 over here, I am left with just x. And when I take away 8 on the right-hand side, 20 minus 8 gives me 12. So it is telling me that x should be equal to 12. Now to check, I need to go back and I need to substitute in the original equation. So I'm going to write the original equation, which was x plus 8 equals 20. I'm going to substitute what I got for my solution, which was 12. 12 plus 8 equals 20. I'm then going to do 12 plus 8. 12 plus 8 is 20. So 20 equals 20. My solution of x equals 12 was correct. All right, let's take a look at another problem here. Now we have 10 and 25 hundredths plus q equals 50 and 75 hundredths. I know the first step tells me to do what? That's correct. You're supposed to draw railroad tracks on either side. Why don't you go ahead and try the rest of this one on your own? I'm going to pause the video, or I'm going to ask you to pause the video, and when you're done solving it, hit play to see how you did. You can work with your groups to solve this problem. Hey everybody, welcome back. So what I'm going to do here is I see that I have added 10 and 2500ths to Q, so I'm going to subtract 10 and 2500ths to both sides. All right. So when I subtract 10 and 2500ths from 10 and 2500ths plus Q, I'll be left with just Q. And then on the right-hand side, I'm going to subtract 10 and 2500ths. 5 minus 5 is 0. 7 minus 2 is 5. 0 minus 0 is 0. 5 minus 1 is 4. So I am getting the solution of Q equals 40 and 50 hundredths. Final step is to check to make sure that my answer is correct. I'm going to do that by substituting. So I have 10 and 25 hundredths plus Q equals 50 and 75 hundredths. All right. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to substitute. So 10 and 25 hundredths, substituting for Q now, 40.50 equals 50.75. So I'm going to add 10 and 25 hundredths plus 40.50. 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 5 is 7. 0 plus 0 is 0. 1 plus 4 is 5. So I'm getting 50 and 75 hundredths on the left. I had 50 and 75 hundredths on the right. Therefore, my solution is correct. Let's take a look at another problem now. 35 and 6/10 equals y minus 22. I want you to think about what the inverse operation of subtraction would be. And I'd like you to press pause on the video, go ahead and solve this problem, and then press play when you're done to check and see how you did. Hey everybody, welcome back. Hopefully you got the same answer that I did. I drew my railroad tracks. I noticed that the inverse operation of subtraction was addition. So I added 22, and I got y on the right-hand side. When I added 22 to 35 and 6/10, I got 57 and 6/10. Then I did my check, and I substituted for y. I found 35 and 6/10 equals 35 and 6/10. So my solution of y equals 57 and 6/10 was correct. Here's one more for you to try. Go ahead and press pause, solve this one, and press play when you're done to check and see how you did. Hey everybody, welcome back. Let's see how you made out here. I hope that you noticed that the inverse operation of subtraction would be addition. So you would be adding 8 and 3/4 to both sides. If I add 8 and 3/4 to 20, I get 28 and 3/4. And then I would substitute and check. And I found that 20 equals 20, which is a correct solution of x equals 28 and 3/4. Today's practice, we're going to be doing a add and subtract maze activity, and then you're going to be doing any of the extensions that are posted for Unit 3, Section 3. Let's take a look at what that addition subtraction maze activity looks like. So here's the page that you're going to be working on now. You will see here that it says solve one step equation, then follow the maze to the next problem. So this just takes you through, here's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you'll see the problems posted here. You're going to do your work on the back of the page. At the top of the page, you'll see it reminds you that inverses undo each other. It gives you an example. And then over here on the right, it also gives you the steps that you'll need to follow. Okay, so you're going to do your work on the back of the sheet. You'll just follow the maze and trace your way through the maze on the front page. All right, guys. Hope everything goes well for you. Thanks for learning along with me. Have a great day.